Chapter 2, The Bath of Temptation. I remember one day I felt something out of my penis, and in the morning of that day, I saw a sticky liquid on my private part. I thought about what my primary school teacher, and goodness, told us when we were in primary 4, about wet dreams and all that, and for a moment, I didn't know whether what I am seeing is actually a wet dream or something else. Our teacher had told us that when we start getting wet dreams, our desire for sex would be increased. I thought this is exactly what is happening to me right now and more because I began having sexual pleasure from that day. It was on a Sunday morning, a beautiful Sunday morning, and my siblings had gone to church. There was no one at home, save me. I was still having all the pressure to have sex that day when I came across one of my sister's books, sexual books, she reads, and the story in the book seemed to ignite my fire, and it was so appetizing that I wished there was a girl in the room with me that morning. And seeing that everyone had gone to church, that could have been a good day for us. For me. I read the books, and read until I came to this one with the most explicit sexual pictures. I would call it a magazine. This magazine was bought by my brother in Port Harcourt, and he left it there before going back to PH. Apart from the usual pictures of romantic duos in the magazine, there was a corresponding story underneath. I read it and read how a lady was in love with another young man. Both loved each other well, and the boy was an undergraduate in the university, and he was running a business. The story continued to state that the boy wished to go to Toronto and enroll in a business school, promising his girlfriend that she'll meet him there in Toronto where they would wed. Unfortunately for the girl, her boyfriend got another beautiful lady from Nigeria whom he wished to marry. It was a sad story. I felt some form of release from my sexual anxiety, a slow and mild pain, or pleasure that crept out of the urethra. As I was saying, she went to his house, and seeing her boyfriend with another girl, she felt dejected. On the short run, she'd poisoned her boyfriend. She was prosecuted, but the lawyer said that she is not guilty, seeing that after giving her boyfriend some cooked rice with arsenic in it, she had the conscience to rush him to the hospital. Even though he died at last. But as I read on, I discovered that the lady in question said she felt like committing suicide because she could not live with the knowledge that her boyfriend is not with her. In fact, she is 28 and no husband yet. I enjoyed that one. I thought about the whole story like a philosopher would do, and one thing that is strange about the story is that as I laid me down on the bed with my chest slightly facing the ceiling, there was little spark of romance in my chest. I just turned the pages and discovered another story. This one is also a love story, and it is about two lovers. The lady in the new story is a worker who lives in the same house with her boyfriend, also a junior worker. She receives a telephone call and after some rotten discussions, called upon her boyfriend or lover who pretended to be sick. She questioned him and said, "Why the hell are you behaving like this?" The lover replied with his own words saying, "What does a sick man like me desire than to have a sizzling time with you?" That was the reply of the lover. As girls sometimes do, she went away and got their luggage ready for the flight that they wanted to take. At the airport, they cleared and boarded their flight. Right inside the plane, the young lover boy was sensing how that his madam is feeling uneasy and restless. He asks why she feels uneasy, but the madam scratched a message on a paper and handed it over to the young man and went straight to the door that led to the restroom. I am going to explain to you what happened in the restroom, because it is the birth of masturbation in my life. Because that story happens to be the first sexual content that ever entered my mind and the one that made me into a masturbating machine. As the young lover boy picked the script, it read, "Meet me in the toilet now." He delayed a little bit to have enough time to think about what was going to happen, and after recognizing nothing of himself, he made his way to the toilet, to the exact door where the madam had entered. He'd knock once, and the door flew open. Grabbing him now, she speedily removed his shirt, enveloped him with kisses. She unveiled her boobs, and the young lover was like dying because of the pleasure. Quickly, he began sucking the life out of the round, supple, dual unges that stood firmly in front of him. As he did so, she groaned with excitement. As he did this, he pictured a movie that he'd watched where two lovers like them were killed by a snake in a plane. This, however, did not distract him from fulfilling his aim at the moment, and besides, a movie is nothing but a movie. He kept sucking voraciously. As I read this very story, I was very happy because I had seen what my heart desired. I made every endeavor to search out the meaning of any word that is new to me from the dictionary so that I can understand the entire storyline. I even reread some of the paragraphs and sometimes start from the beginning when I am done searching for the new words. Meanwhile, the madam undid his pants, and he was left aghast as his stick stood still like the rock of Gibraltar. Immediately, she bent down and began to give him a powerful flotio. By this time, my body systems are not moving and forming momentum, especially my testicles. I just imagine every piece of this which I'd read, and it makes me to feel like I am moving, satisfied with what I want, actually. I was even rubbing my body on the bed, to tell that I really want to do this thing. I mean, to do it with someone, at the moment. When she was sucking, he was set on fire badly and could not understand what she is up to. She sucked and sucked and sucked and sucked till the guy was exhausted, and skillfully, he just removed her mouth and turned her down. Look, by now, she is totally nude and all legs wide open. He looked deep into her inviting triangular valley, and without ado, he slid his stick into her. I did demonstrate this as I read just this paragraph. This is the most intense part of the story, and it is getting me high. I felt something coming out of me from my urethra. I felt I put my thing into a girl's thing. In fact, I was deeply in the mood. At this point, MMA, my grandmother, called me. I never answered, because I didn't want to miss this moment. As he did, she moaned, and he rocked her vulgarly to the point that she began saying, "Push him faster." The guy did according to the instruction, and within seconds, he began to feel something peculiar. He felt like he is on top of the world, filled with sweet nothing. It was a remarkable moment, and you know what I mean. Seconds later, they ended their discussion, and when the plane landed, they were feeling like people who had been to the moon. The line that ended the story is when the guy said, "Next week, I am out of here." After reading this story for the first time, I read it again and again, up to 4 times, and the parts that I read so carefully are the sex scenes, which is, for me, the most powerful parts that can do the satisfaction that I craved. It made me become busy with my body movement on the bed. I was surprised when I began to feel sperms coming out of my penis. For the first time. The feeling was very intense, rushing out of me like liquid fire. My brain was fully engaged. I immediately stood up and opened my trousers. It flowed out. I took a tiny plate and tried to pour some of it into the plate when finally, the flow ceased. But I was happy that I had developed sperms. I am now a man. I watched the color of it and was elated to know the color of that thing that biology calls semen. That was the birth of masturbation in my life. It has been an experience in my life which I can never forget, not in a hurry. Assuming I went to church that Sunday morning, it would not have happened to me. I gave the devil chance to plant one of the most deadly fruits that destroys a lot of youth in life, masturbation. I thought that I'd overpower the feeling during the first year, but I continued, into the second year, and the third. I could not understand myself anymore. I tried as much as possible to stop it, but it is an act I would hastily do whenever I remember it.